The last major ITU race before Rio saw the 7th World Cup event of the year in Montreal, Canada. 34 elite women lined up for the non-wetsuit swim for the race over the sprint distance. The swim took place in the Old Port area, one lap of 750 metres. Large crowds lined the course as the city hosted its debut ITU event. Early in the swim, there were already several athletes trying to gain an advantage. As they reached the furthest part of the course, it was the USA's Summer Cook that had got herself into the lead. Cook, who earned her first win in Chengdu earlier this year, is always consistent in the water, but Bermuda's Flora Duffy stayed with her, as did Cook's teammates Kirsten Casper and Jessica Broderick. Cook was first out of the water and off on the long run to T1, with a steady stream of women behind her. Duffy, who's enjoying a great season, heads to the Olympics after this. She won her first WTS race in Stockholm recently and will hope for a medal in Rio. She was soon off on the 4-lap 20-kilometre bike, and with her skills on two wheels would look to build up a healthy advantage. The field was already looking fairly well strung out after the short swim, but it was Duffy, not for the first time this season, that was riding solo at the front. The small chase group were already some way back, with a second group of chasers just behind them. As they reached the incline, they did have Duffy in their sights, but she kept her advantage at the end of the first lap as she rounded the 180-degree turn and back across the blue carpet. Taylor Knibb from the USA had taken it upon herself to break away from the chasers in pursuit of Duffy. It didn't take long for the American to bridge up to the Bermudan as they sought to build up a good lead before setting off on the 5-kilometre run. The chase group numbered 8 and included Ashley Gentle and home favourite Paula Finley, but they were making little inroads into the leading duo. Duffy decided to go it alone for the latter part of the race, leaving Knibb behind, and was soon back into T2. Even after setting off on the 2-lap run, the rest of the field were nowhere in sight, a testament to Duffy's skills on the bike. Eventually Knibb did make an appearance and set off on her own, looking to make her own efforts pay dividends with a podium finish. These two were long gone by the time Gentle led the rest of the group back to T2, and it seemed that third place would be all they had to battle for. Duffy was running a great even pace, just concentrating on her own performance, not what was going on behind her. Knibb was a long way back and working hard, but Gentle was running well and soon had the American in her sights. Duffy was looking untouchable and will head to Brazil in top form for the Olympic race, and the large crowd showed their appreciation for her efforts. Gentle was closing in on Knibb all the time as the race wore on, and on the second lap the Aussie was right on her shoulder before easing past her into second. For the second race in succession, Duffy came home with time to spare, cruising down the finishing chute. 24 seconds her winning margin as she crossed the line in just over an hour. Gentle kept up her momentum to come home in second place, and it was Knibb who produced an impressive performance in her debut World Cup race to close out a place on the podium in third.
Kind of came as a bit of a surprise, you know. I came into this pretty tired, a big block for Rio just done, and I wanted one last hit out and kind of knew it could go either way. It definitely hurt out there. I mean, I was glad with how it went, but yeah, just it didn't feel too pretty.
It's definitely a bit of, I don't know, I didn't really know how I was going to go. I haven't raced since Yokohama, so coming here was good timing for Rio, so I'm pretty relieved that I pulled off a good result.
Well, I was trying to catch her, and I think she was very, very kind, and I owe her my entire race because I know she sat up for me. But then I told her, you go ahead on all the turns. I don't want to make any of my silly mistakes ruin her whole Rio. So she'd get me like 5 seconds on every turn. And then on the last lap, she was just, I think, tired of waiting for me. So I'm happy that she went ahead, but I was dying a little bit. Triathlon World Cup, félicitations à nos championnes de la Coupe du Monde du Triathlon.